What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're talking about Absolute Batman issue number 7. This one is written, of course, by Mr. Scott Snyder. I'll have to check to see who did the artwork on this thing. But this one, we're bringing in the Absolute Universe version of Mr. Freeze. So this one tells a very different type of Mr. Freeze, Victor Freeze type storyline that I really didn't kind of expect going into this thing. I mean, everything's a bit different with the Absolute Universe. I mean, Bruce's friends are who would typically be the Rogues Gallery in other universes, and they're kind of dealing with the fallout of them finding out that he was Batman and all this chaotic stuff's been going on. We also see this universe version of Matches Malone. So if you know, in the main universe, Matches Malone is just another persona that Bruce kind of takes on, like when he's going undercover as like a disguise. But this version of Matches is somebody that Bruce actually kind of knows. We also see Victor Freeze in this one, of course, because he's like the next big like antagonist, but he has some sort of rare disease, and he has to be kind of put under ice until some sort of cure is sort of found with him. Like, he's bleeding out of his eyes right here, and it's some really like disturbing stuff as we kind of find out as the issue unfolds. So Bruce is there. Looks like a different artist worked on this one compared to some of the previous issues, but we see Matches here, and he looks a little off. He tells Bruce about some stuff going on Ark M Island. They're building some sort of prison there, and Bruce wants in. He wants to figure out what's going on there, and, maybe some other people already on the island, and he has to investigate. But as he's talking to Matches, something goes completely wrong with him. Like, you ever see the movie Cloverfield? Remember when the one girl just kind of explodes because she got bit by one of those things? Something similar seems to be happening to Matches here. He just starts to like bleed out of like every pore of his body, and then he just kind of like dies right on the spot. So it seems like some sort of biological disease has sort of inflicted him. Again, with Mr. Freeze having to deal with some sort of disease himself, as we showcased kind of briefly at the beginning of the issue, maybe that's what he's passing on to different people, and it's the cold that kind of keeps it at bay or something like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So, Bruce's Batman goes to investigate some stuff, and he comes across Mr. Freeze, who turns out, many years ago, he goes on to explain that he was put under ice as a child, but then, they found some sort of cure, but his parents underwent some sort of disease, and we see them kind of frozen under ice, and they look really kind of messed up looking right here. Now, Victor looks okay. Like, you see V-Core, that's kind of the thing that he's running right there, and so Bruce goes to investigate, and then you come to see little flashes that he had this disease, and something starts to happen with him. He starts to begin to transform a little bit by the end of the issue, and he turns into that thing. I don't know if you've seen Alien Covenant, but that weird thing that it's kind of like an engineer looking thing, the little hybrid monster thing that's born out of the one, was it like Isabel Merced or whatever? Like, she's giving birth, and she was infected with the Prometheus strain, and it turned into that weird, creepy looking monstrosity thing. That's what Mr. Freeze looks like at the end of this particular issue. So some good stuff, kind of laying the foundation for where the story is going to go next, with Mr. Freeze as the villain. Like, he looks a little bit more disturbing. He doesn't seem to have his Sub-Zero suit, but there still is kind of that icy influence with his family and how he was frozen under the ice. There is no Nora this time around, so they're not really leaning too much into the sympathetic angle with Mr. Freeze that we've seen with him looking for his wife. He was a kid who was diseased, so it kind of turned him into something. But I'm just kind of curious to see where we'll kind of go with this thing. So, yeah, like I said, Scott Snyder was the writer on this one. Marcos Martín was the artist on this. I think there's a different artist working on this thing. I'm drawing a blank off the top of my head, but I do like the horror elements kind of being mixed within the pages of this thing, and I like how we're dealing with the fallout of Bruce's friends. You have Penguin, Riddler, Two-Face, and who's the other one? Killer Croc, which they're not those versions just yet, but maybe they will, maybe they won't be. I don't know, I kind of since it's the Absolute Universe, I almost don't want to see all of them become villains just yet, but it's inevitably going to happen. But because they have that long-term personal connection with him, it's really going to feel like the falling out of that friendship. It's going to hit a lot harder since they're people who've known each other for very, many years. Now, the only one we don't really see confront him, at least that I noticed, was Selina Kyle just yet, unless I missed her with this thing. A lot of the characters are kind of silhouetted, so, and I've only read it twice, but yeah, so we don't really see her point of view on this thing, because like I said, you see Nigma right there, you see Harvey, you see Waylon, you see, well, it was Two-Face and Penguin and all that. So yeah, you see all of them there, but you don't really see Selina and her reaction to this whole thing. So again, I thought it was pretty interesting. I like the horror elements to it. Somebody reminded me again of the movie Cloverfield, where he just starts bleeding. The first time I read it, I'm like, did he get shot or something? But then I had to go back and look at it again. I'm like, no, he just like blood just exploded from like every pore of his body, which is pretty hardcore mess. I mean, Absolute Batman's been a pretty like violent comic book right from the get-go, and like this, they're still kind of continuing that trend, but adding in those cool little like horror elements within the pages of the story, I thought that was pretty cool and kind of interesting. So yeah, I thought it was pretty solid stuff. I'm enjoying Absolute Batman and looking forward to seeing what we do within the next couple of storylines. This is sort of a new like storyline, so because we already had kind of the first one with Black Mask, now we're introducing Mr. Freeze. We're probably going to bring in Joker and all that too, and other villains and all that. So I don't know, I'm excited to see like what they do with it, because again, this new take on Mr. Freeze with these more creepy horror elements to it could be something very interesting that we'll see unfold as the storyline kind of happens as it does. So but different artists this time around. I like the art within the previous issues a little bit more, but there's still some cool stuff in here. I think, like I said, the image with Matches Malone just kind of like bleeding out of like every pore of his body, I thought that was kind of a cool like graphic visual that they kind of orchestrated, like what's going on here. And then like the disease angle and all that too. I don't know, like there's some good stuff within the pages of this thing so far. So but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with Mr. Freeze, because he's not really wearing the freeze suit like he normally does, but he still has that connection to ice. Is he going to start like firing ice guns and all that too? Because that's a trademark of Mr. Freeze. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't feel right if he didn't have something like that. Yeah, there's still a connection. He was frozen, like, as a kid, and you have his parents who are under ice right now, but you got to give him the ice guns and all that, too. I know Elseworlds and all that, too, but is it really, like, Mr. Freeze has cool, like, ice stuff right there? So that's what I'm kind of wondering. So, but we'll see what type of different direction Scott Snyder takes this thing in. They're really swinging for the fences with Absolute Batman, right now. So, but anyways, I've rambled on long enough. What did you think of Absolute Batman issue number 7? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel for more content. Hit the bell for notifications for all that other stuff. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind on these comic book videos, but a new comic book day starts, and as long as I get these out before the new week, then I feel pretty good about myself. So yeah, I got a bunch of them coming out tomorrow. What we got? Like Detective, we got Nightwing, we got Titans, we got World's Finest, and then we have Godzilla vs. Hulk, which is the one I'm probably most looking forward to reading, and Nightwing. Like Nightwing I'm really enjoying under Dan Waters, believe it or not. So yeah, but yeah, still solid stuff this week. And yeah, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.